Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kagwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel, starting up with 144,000, which will be the ruling governing body in the kingdom of heaven, which will be our men, the 144,000. Also to a lot of the 1/3 here in America, which would be men, women, and children, that will be believers, that will be saved. 2/3 of our people will be destroyed here in America, Babylon the Great. You have the rebels that are scattered abroad, they'll be destroyed. And you have the elect that are scattered abroad, they'll be saved. Right? Who the world ignorantly and willingly calls black, Hispanic, Native American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, Haitian, Guatemala, Panamanians, Cubans, Argentinians, Chileans. Right? I'm the brother Yeromia, come back at y'all with another lesson. As y'all can see, it says GOP Congresswoman says aliens are fallen angels as Trump releases UFO files. This is in the Bible, right? And I'm going to, I'm making this video because the Lord revealeth his secrets to his servants, the prophets, man. That's the scripture I'm going to get, right? Amos chapter 3, verse 7 says, surely the Lord Yahweh Bashmel Hashai will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret to his servants, the prophets. And the secret that has been hid for ages, right, is what these vehicles in the heavens are, right? They're not UFOs, they're not UAPs, these terms that they have been given by Esau, right? They're the chariots of the Yahweh Bashmel Hashai, man, right? There's no aliens inside of them, man. That's another thing that Esau had made up so he could control the narrative and have people scared and all these different things, which you really should be, because they're not here to save you wicked people. They're here to destroy your ass. But they're not damn green or gray men with damn big ass heads, man. they're not. Let's go to Ezekiel 1, right? Because Ezekiel 1 talks about, the appearance of, the angels and, the chariots, man. Let's go to it, right? Let me read it. We started Ezekiel. I started Ezekiel chapter 1 says, now it came to pass in the 13th year in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Chebar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of Yahweh Bashmel Hashai. The 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiakim's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzai, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river of Chebar, and the hand of the Lord was there upon him. And I looked and beheld a whirlwind that came out of the north, right? This is talking about a chariot, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself. So it was like a fire. That's how it looked, right? And a brightness was around about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber. And out of the midst of the fire, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. These are the angels, man. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, so they looked like men, right? But it's also going to describe the rest of their look. And every one had 4 faces, right? Everyone had 4 wings, right? And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, right? And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass, right? And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides. And they 4, right? It says, and they had 4, and they 4 had their faces and their wings were joined one to another, and they turned not when they went, and they went everyone straight forward. So they all went the same way. It says, as for the likeness of their faces, they had the face of a man and the face of a lion, right? On the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side, and they 4 also had the face of an eagle, right? Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings, and every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies, right? It says, and they went everyone straight forward, whither the spirit was to go. So, wherever the Lord directed their spirit to go, that's where they went, right? They went, and they turned not when they went. It says, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like the burning coals of fire, right? And like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. And out of the fire went forth lightning. Right? It says, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. So they could, and they had spiritual power, man. They're from the heavens, man. It says, and now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces. So it's talking about the chariot. You know, whenever they moved, the chariot was moving. You know, it says the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, right? And they four had one likeness, and their appearance, it says in appearance and their work was as it were a wheel within the middle of a wheel. You see, so that's what that's talking about, man. You know, a wheel within a wheel. You see that so-called UFO, the chariot on this picture. You can see a circle at the bottom where that light is beaming. That's how they look, man. You know? So you can see why Esau, you know, changed the narrative of them. But not, which I ain't gonna read all the way down. You know? You get it. You know? You get it. I can read all of this. Right? But you can see, you know, the Lord is dealing with angels, man. He ain't dealing with no damn aliens. Right? And there's many other scriptures, man. You know? What is it? Psalms 101 and verse 3. Let me see if I can get there real quick. Or it might be 103. 104 and verse 3. It says, who left the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh his clouds his chariot. You see? Right. Because the chariots cloak themselves, man. He who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Right? It says, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flaming fire. You see? These are chariots, man. Right? Vehicles from the heavens, man, that are going to come down one day, right? When our Lord YAHSHAWAR returns. They're going to zap you people, man. Right? And they're going to be used to beam up the elect. You know? Eventually, everybody's going to realize the prophets were right, man. They were right. You know? We had the truth. You know? The scriptures tell you that, man. You know, but it's not a surprise that this devil, you know, changed the narrative, you know, of the Bible, who and what was. It tells you there in Job 9:24. You know, the earth was given in the hands of the wicked. He changed the faces of the judge thereof. Now I'm aware of who is he. You see, this man has changed the appearance of everything. Right? Which when you go into it, you know, all these different nations, they have records, documents of what these chariots are, man. They know. And at least if Esau Edom know. You know? But and this is also a part of, you know, him hiding it is a part of the world being deceived. And we know what the scriptures say. Right? Let's go to Job 12. Verse 16, it says, with him and strength and wisdom, right? With who? YAHSHAWAR, the deceiver and the deceiver are his. So the Lord put the spirit on Esau, Edom, to hide this too, and to not tell the world who this actually was. But, you know, the prophets are revealing it. You see? We're in that time to where the truth is being made known to everybody. You know? And eventually we could be having a lot of people come up to the camp and start asking questions, you know? It could happen, you know? And I'm speaking as a man. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but good, you know? Because with this society about to get real bad, man. You know? Let me get 2nd Esdras 6. Right? Not chapter 11. 6. And verse 27, it says, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. Right? And the truth which had been so long without fruit shall be declared. You see? Right? Faith is flourishing. Right? Truth is overcoming. Right? And a lot of times, people don't even believe what this devil says, man, anymore, man. You know, that's evil being put out. Right? But they're not fallen angels, man. If you're not a prophet, right? If you got to be an Israelite to be a prophet. You are supposed to be, you a woman. You ain't supposed to be talking no damn way, you know. But if you ain't a prophet, you ain't an Israelite first and foremost. You don't need to be talking, man. You know, Only the prophets of the Lord have the truth of the Bible and what the reality of the world is. Only the Lord's elect has that understanding, man. You know, you people are going to realize that very soon through judgment. You know, very soon. You know, and you still gonna have people that's gonna believe they're, demons and all these other things. It's just gonna be that way. People gonna believe all these other weird ideologies until the end, man. You go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5, right? In verse 2, it says, when they see it, they should be troubled with terrible fear and should be amazed at the strangeness of a salvation so far all beyond that they had looked for. You see? Hey, they're going to be troubled with terrible fear, man. And amazed because they're not going to expect people to get beamed up and taken away. That people don't look for these things, man. This is going to destroy, Esau has been saying, this is going to destroy everybody's beliefs and what they believe is reality, man. Because you weren't taught what this is, man. People believe these are fables. People believe, in all different other things. But the Lord's about to show you, who really exists, right? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Whatever Esau does, man, if you believe that, then you ain't a part of the elect, man. We know Esau got Project Bluebeam, and he got, different stunts he's gonna pull. We know these things. The scriptures say the elect ain't gonna be fooled. Like if they tomorrow, let's say for example tomorrow, on the national news, that's all on TV. They say, a massive fleet of chariots are covering the whole city of Los Angeles or something. They put it all on the news and people, record it on their phones. Esau has the technology to do stuff like that, to make it seem like that, and people are gonna believe it. That's why the scriptures say, what does it say? The elect shall not be deceived, but things are gonna happen so much and so vividly and so it's gonna be so crazy and so real looking. People are gonna think these things are gonna be reality, man. Let me see. But only the elect is gonna be able to see through these things. Let me see. This is Matthew 24 and verse 24. It says, for there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. You see that? So, people gonna believe this bullshit that they're, fallen angels or demons, And Esau, this may happen. The Lord may put the spirit on this man to do this, to get you people to comply, especially over here in America, with his NWO, and to get people to take these C-hips. This is the only way these are going to go away. You're going to be able to fight against them. Who knows, man? That's why we got to pray that how much more Shah keeps the spirit on us, man, and to pray that we don't be deceived. But somebody's a part of the elect. Somebody going to sit there to the end, and we just hope that's us. So I just want to do a video on this, man. They got this movie coming out. I done said it a couple times on my last couple lessons ago. We're these times, man, to where, hey, get ready to see everything, and anything, But, hey, Yahweh Shai is what's going to remain true. So I want to close out. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kawadash. Double honors to the elders and Apostle Great Millstone. Till next time, I want to say, Abba